Hey there, and welcome back to my craft room. This is card number 2 in my tutorial series for my February class by mail. Thanks for coming back, and thanks for purchasing this particular class. I really enjoyed designing and getting these kits ready. I hope you enjoy making them as well, and continue to use this cute little set way into the future. I'm actually sort of hoping that I can bring it out now and then as well. It's just such a lovely sort of images and sort of simple lines, which is really nice. I'm just going to check my volume here, just make sure that's still okay. Yep, that seems okay. Apologies if my voice is a little bit soft today. We've got our new kitten in the other room, and I think he's asleep, so I really didn't want to wake him up, because once he wakes up nobody can concentrate on anything around here, so it's best if he's kept sleeping. Anyway, so this is card number 2. This is a really nice card. I really like square cards, and this was a lovely colour combination, I thought. It's a 5 by 5 inch card base, and then you've got granny apple green layer and a whisper white layer on front and inside. We've got our images there. We've got that beautiful sort of wreath almost of strawberry leaves and blossoms around the edge there, and a couple of full strawberries. And again, as in with the first video, I've set up some of those strawberry flowers on dimensionals for a bit of added interest there. So let's have a look and see what the card kit looks like. As I say, each of your kits has 2 cards, so I'll try and fish out one card at a time here. So your card base is for 5.5 inches, so it's 11 inches by 5.5, and it's scored in the middle. You should have 2 layers of granny apple green, which is 1/4 inch smaller than the card base, so one for the outside and one for the inside. And then also 2 layers of whisper white, again another 1/4 inch smaller than the granny apple green, and one for the inside and one for the outside. So you should have 2 lots of each of those. You've got again some scraps of whisper white for doing our little flowers, and you've got a scalloped circle. So these are using the layered circle dies. One scalloped circle in granny apple green, and a straight circle in the whisper white for our sentiment. And you've got your dimensionals and your rhinestones there as well. So let's get started with this one. So basically the best thing to do with this is get one of your whisper white panel that you're going to use for stamping, and your whisper white circle, and then I'm going to try and pop it in the middle here. I'm working off to one side, aren't I? So pop it in the middle of your whisper white layer, and grab a pencil or some sort of light marker, put it in the middle, and then mark the circle, top, bottom, left and right. So as close to the circle as you possibly can, just so you know the final position of that circle. And then what we're going to do is bring in our blossoms, which I thought I'd kept on their block, but obviously I haven't. No, there they are. Bring in your blossoms. We're going to sort of create that little wreath of blossoms around the edge there where our circle is going to be. Now I had a couple of goes of this, and hopefully I'm going to get it right today. So I try to be a little bit logical about where our blossoms are going to be, so I end up with them sort of evenly placed. So where you've put your dot for the bottom, sort of place, you want your blossom to sort of the beginning stem of that blossom to sort of line up with that dot. And then the leaf, there's one leaf there that will point practically down. So you want that to be almost pointing exactly down towards you. And then, yes, but still on your whisper white page layer. Just like that. And I've still got my sponge, my foam mat under there as well for the photopolymer stamps to give them the best coverage. Then you want to rotate again, and again wherever your dot is, pop the beginning of your the stem of your little leaves. The other little leaf will point practically down towards you, but still be on the page, and stamp there. There we go. We're going to rotate again. This is a lot easier. I wish I'd remembered how to did this when I did my original. I was terribly illogical. Okay, same thing where your little dot is there on the four points of the compass there, really. Position your little stem. Make sure your leaf is pointing towards you but still on the page, and stamp. There we are, and we've got one more to do, so rotate again. Again, start the stem on the dot, leaf pointing towards you but still on the page. And that way you've got evenly spaced and sort of symmetrical looking leaves. Now that's my style. Anyone who knows me knows that I am a little bit, I love my symmetry. Stephen, my husband, laughs at me all the time because I can't stand things that aren't quite symmetrical, but then it's nice and even as well, so that's where it'll go. And see here, with our circle in the middle, it covers over all our pencil marks, and it's nice and even in the middle there as well, nice and central. Okay, so the thing to do now is to colour all these leaves and things in. We'll put that back in. You see here we've covered over some of the leaves, but we do need to colour in the ones towards the outside that are just poking their little heads through behind the circle. So we need to colour these. Again, I'm just using my blends. I'm just going to use the dark this time. I won't bother too much with blending, but as I say, you guys can use whatever you like and use whatever colouring technique you prefer. Blends or markers or pencils or ink and paintbrushes with ink on them. So if you do watercolouring, there we go. I didn't realise this class is a little bit of you watching me colour, but that's alright, you can fast forward through that. I promise I won't say anything important until I've got the colouring done. It's very relaxing though. I love my colouring in. If I'm doing videos, I do get my eldest son to sometimes edit a little bit of it out because it is a bit dreary to be watching. We're losing the light here. It's been a very, very hot day, but it is clouding over now for some rain we're expecting later on, which will hopefully bring us some relief and not just make everything horribly humid. I have a feeling it will just make things horribly humid. There's our leaves done. I'm going to bring in my dark Flirty Flamingo and just colour these flowers. Okay, so we might pop that layer aside for the moment, and we'll bring in our strawberry, and we're going to do some punching and some stamping and some punching. Okay, so we've got a blank piece of Whisper White here, just a scrap piece. So what we actually want to do is grab our stamp set and grab our strawberry outline. And a nice sized block. Just our strawberry outline there. Black ink on my fingers now, be careful of that. Okay, so we've got our blank black strawberry. I'm going to pop that what's the best way of doing that? That way, I think. So actually pop it in there and have our strawberry facing sort of across the page, just like that. Like that. And we actually want 2 of those. So, as I say, orient it. When you're going to be using the punch, make sure you orient it so that you don't waste a lot of paper and stamp out over punch where you want your strawberry to be. So I'm going to have a little bit of problem there. Oh, it might be okay. I've actually got my strawberries a little bit too close together because the flower there is going to punch out the edge of my strawberry. So there's a good warning lesson for you. I've put it too close together. I'll punch out one, and then you'll see what I mean, that I've put them too close together. That's a good warning there. So there's our one strawberry, and you can see there that because I've punched it and this one is too close, it's actually, I've lost a little bit of the edge of my strawberry. So I'm going to have to stamp that one again. And punch it out again. There it is there. So as a result of that, I've also got 2 little flowers that I've punched out. So I'm going to actually use those. So when they sort of fly out of your punch, make sure you keep them, because we will be using those as well for our decorating. We actually need 8 of those. So now I've got my 2 strawberries that I want. Just clean that off. And I'll bring in my the fill-in strawberry. You could colour that strawberry in with your blends if you've got a red blend that you like, but I'm going to use the fill-in one. And I'm going to grab my Poppy Parade ink and fill those in. One. That's 2. Lovely and quick, and a lot quicker than doing it with blends or whatever. And it gives it a sort of a nice, you'll see when you do it, gives it a nice sort of 3D stamp effect. It's got light and dark all in the same stamp, which is really good. It saves you a lot of time. Oh, you'll also need, I should have done it all at once, shouldn't I? You also need a couple of the strawberry stalks. So, I'll grab that stamp as well. So this one is on that side there. So we want to stamp it roughly there on our piece of paper. For the final card, I'll show you an easy way of doing this so you don't have to waste some cardstock. Probably would have been best to show you for the first card, but anyway. So there's one of our stalks there. And then I'll stamp another one, same sort of direction above that. And I'll stamp. And we'll get him out as well. There we are. So our strawberries obviously need stalks. And there we are, we have a couple there as well. So you can actually grab this little infill stamp for our stalk as well. And we'll use Granny Apple. Now you could use just your markers to do that, or your blends or whatever, because it's only a little image. But there is an infill stamp for that as well. So I'll just grab that and position those. And fill that in as well. There we are. I might grab our glue and just pop a tiny bit of glue on the top of each of those strawberries and pop their little leaves on, just so they don't go missing in the craft room. 1 and 2. I'll just let that dry. So there's our 2 little strawberries. So we have some of these flowers as well. So I might grab our little flower stamp, which is this one. And we can see these 2 that we stamped out as part of the rest of punching out the others. We'll just pop the images on there. There we are. And then we might do 3 or 4 more as well. Make sure I put that in the right place. Okay, so we want to start. Where do we want to start? There. And the last one, that'll do 6. That's probably enough. 6. So I could flip it over and do another couple on the back of that strawberry that I mucked up, just to get the whole. I think I did 8 on the original, so if you can get 8 with the cardstock that I've given you, or grab some cardstock from your own stash and try and get 8 little flowers. Let's see if I get the last one just in there. Here we are. There should be 8 little flowers there now. So I'm going to grab my Flirty Flamingo ink, and there's a little infill stamp for those flowers, just there. Grab my little block again. And our Flirty Flamingo ink, which is here somewhere. There it is. And we're going to fill these little flowers in as well. There we are. I think you'll agree those little infill stamps make everything so much faster than using the blends. Okay, so I think that's all we're going to need as far as stamping and punching. What we might do is we'll bring back our little stamped wreath shape that we've got there. I'm going to bring in the circle and the scalloped circle. Glue those together. Then we're going to we can stamp our sentiment. So I've popped 2 sentiments on this because it is quite a large circle. So I've got the thank you from the set, which fits in there really nicely, and then that was so sweet of you on there as well. You could use the happy birthday you sweet thing as well. Actually, I might use that this time just for something a little bit different, just to show you. But as I say, on the original, and I'll show you in a sec, we've actually put both sentiments on the same circle because it is quite large in comparison. But this one's actually a little bit, sort of takes up a bit more space than the other, so I'd probably pop this one on by itself. Mat under there, which is making things a little bit uneven. So it's under there. Just pop that in the centre. Good thing with a circle is, as long as you're in the centre, it doesn't matter. You could be slightly, there is no such thing as straight when you're dealing with a circle. You can just rotate it a little bit to make it straight on your card. Okay, so we're going to pop that one on there. So I might do that now. You could pop this one up on dimensionals if you wanted to. It would be quite nice. I'm just going to glue it because I'm going to pop all those little extra flowers that we've stamped onto dimensionals. So I think that's probably enough. So you've got your little compass heading pencil marks there. So make sure you cover those over with the circle. With the circle, that's what the position we put them in was so that we could cover them with that green circle so they don't be seen. Not that it matters too much, they were very, very fine and very, very light, but anyway, we've covered that over. That's really good. Okay, so we might layer up the outside of the card now, just with our Whisper White onto our Granny Apple Green. And then both of those onto your card base. Got ink on my fingers. So I've got this one oriented as a sideways opening card, but you could flip it 45 or 90 degrees and make it open that way if you wanted to, but I'm doing it this way. Okay, so that's that there. Then what we can do is bring in our beautiful strawberries. I'm going to pop one strawberry down here, just so it looks like it's hanging off the vine, and one up here. So it's going to cover over your flowers a little bit, but that's all right. You can choose where you want to pop your strawberries, of course. I'm going to pop them there like that. If you organised yourself better than I have before you pop these on, you could probably not bother colouring in the flowers that you're actually not going to see. But because I never know how these things are going to turn out, I've sort of coloured them all in. But anyway, there we are. So that's really sweet. Okay. And then we've got all our extra little flowers here, and I'm going to pop those up on dimensionals all around the edge of our, just to fill in all the gaps. All around the place. And this really adds to the design. Takes it from being quite sort of sparse to really adding the extra dimension. And again, you could just pop these on with glue, but I like the dimensionals. It gives it a bit of extra interest. So you've got 8 to play with there. Sometimes you might like to pop it over a flower that's already there so it looks like it's on the end of the stalk. Sometimes just leave them free around the edge. One more to go. Where do I pop that? Up here. Just nestled in next to our strawberry there. There we are. And of course you have some bling as well. I think you've got 3 little rhinestones per card. You pop those around as well. You might want to put some more around there if you've got some in your stash as well. That's perfectly up to you. Okay, so we just need now to, I've got a little bit of ink there, which is going to annoy me, so I'm trying to find my mono. Here's my mono eraser. Just try and get a little bit of that ink splodge off. They really annoy you when you get them on your fingers. That's better. Okay, so we're going to pop our layers inside. So you've got the same sort of layer. You've got your Granny Apple Green, goes on first. And your Whisper White on top, or basic white. And again, you could pop some of the little flowers or another strawberry on the inside. I don't think I did in my original. No, I haven't, but that's entirely up to you. So as I say, we've got thank you, that was so sweet of you on the original one, which is two of the sentiments, whereas I've got happy birthday you sweet thing on this one that we've done together today. Okay, so that's about that with that one. Adds a piece of extra special if you happen to have Wink of Stella at home. If not, it's available online from me, my online store. Please pop on and buy it. If you give your strawberries a little bit of Wink of Stella, it just makes them look so good that you just want to pop them in your mouth. There we are. Just gives them that really lovely early morning dew sort of look. You can even pop it on your little flowers as well if you wanted to, but that's entirely up to you. If you can see that in the sun of my craft room, that's just added a real shimmer to those strawberries. Hopefully you see that. Okay, so that's card number 2. I hope you like that one. Just really, I love the square. Actually, funny, this is exactly the same stamps and exactly the same components, and that one looks like it's got more on it than this one. I think it's just the orientation of the flowers that I've, in those original stamps that I've done. I've sort of hidden more of them in that one. But anyway, as you say, everything's different when every card looks different when you're doing stamping up. Anyway, so there you are. That's your 2 cards. So hopefully you like those, and come back and give that try. That wonderful technique of hiding the creating a wreath around the edge of a circle is just a wonderful technique that you can use for many different stamps. And I think I realised that I've actually popped more individual flowers in there. That's why that looks different. But anyway, go mad. Make sure you just do whatever you want. And you could create beautiful effects like this. It's not really, with these wonderful products, you really can't go wrong. Okay, well, thanks for watching this one. I'll do a bit of tidying up and I'll come back with the last card of this class.